is Man Culture on the Skids, bringing you what it's like to live in Texas, grow up in Texas, and living in Texas. Everything that guys do here in Texas. And our first video, I thought we'd go with beef culture. Beef is Texas. That's what we're known for. It goes from our barbecue to our steakhouses. I want to cook, I want to do reverse sear, which is different than what you'll get at a restaurant steakhouse where they do sear and then broil it in the oven. Takes less time. The reverse sear, you're doing a slow cook in an oven or on a smoker, and that will, you get it up to a temperature and then you pull it off before it's actually to the temp that you want, rare, medium rare, and then you sear it in a pan for 2 to 3 minutes on each side, and I guarantee you, you will have the perfect steak right out of a steakhouse, Papa's Brothers, Del Frisco's. You will not be buying steaks from these guys anymore because you will know how to do it for you and your wife and your family. I've got a ribeye here, prime, wet aged, and I've got a dry aged ribeye as well. And what you can tell about dry age is it's a different process where it's aged longer, where it's stored at nearly freezing temperatures for a longer amount of time, and it starts to break down the muscles, so it makes for more tender beef. You also have mold and fungus that grows on it to give it an earthy flavor to the steak. You can see here, this is a 1.5 inch. It's got a nice cap here, nice marbling on both sides. This is actually a great side right here. You can see the marbling there. This is the 1 inch dry age, beautiful. You can see the marbling there. I'm excited to put this on the sear. And this pork chop here, I just thought I'd play with it, see if I can do a reverse sear on a pork chop tomahawk or tomahawk pork chop. But let's get to season it. We're going to do very basic. You don't want to mess with the flavor of the meat. You want the fat to cook into the meat, to render into the meat. That's the flavor you're going for. I like to start out with a little extra virgin olive oil. Rub it in there. I like this to just kind of get the salt and pepper, which is all we're going to be using, to kind of stick onto the meat. And I'm going to use kosher salt and butcher block black pepper. It's a thicker, coarse pepper. It's great for grilling and brisket, smoking brisket. It's thicker and a lot more flavor when you bite into it. So do a little boom. Alright guys, pat that in there, turn that around. When you're doing this, you may want to leave it out, bring it to room temperature, the steaks, season them, maybe let it sit out for about 15-20 minutes. And what will happen is salt will start to bring the moisture out of the meat, and it'll dissolve the salt and get back in the meat. So you get what they call a dry brine, and it goes into the meat. So you get this savory, salty flavor in the meat. It's outstanding. You don't have to do it that way, but I would recommend giving it a shot because it is fantastic. First time doing a tomahawk pork. Typically I do pulled pork ribs, and I add a little more coloring to my rubs and a little more onion powder, garlic powder, a little more seasoning to it. But I'm going to treat this like a steak. We'll see how it comes out. Don't like it, we'll do another video and show you how to do it properly. Because this is basically a rib bone right here. It's got a lot of fat on there. If you've had baby back ribs or St. Louis cut ribs, it's going to be outstanding. I'm looking forward to searing that. All right, guys, let's go to the smoker. Like I said, you can do it in the oven or you can do it on the smoker. You get some great flavor in the pellet smoker that I'm going to be using. I got a Green Mountain back there, and it's just going to be fantastic. About to do the reverse sear. Going to throw in the ribeyes and the tomahawk pork. We've got this up. It's a pellet smoker from Green Mountain. It's a great way to just set it and forget it is the motto with these pellet smokers. But it's also just a great way to control the temperature while you're doing other stuff for the family or for yourself. What you want to do is get it up 275, and we're gonna drop them in here. Find out where this is the hot part of your smoker, or your pellet smoker. Mine happens to be top right hand side, so you're going to want to probably put your thickest one, the 1.5, that's the prime, up on that corner. This one, this is the dry aged ribeye, 1 inch, probably offset it back here where it's not as hot. And then now, tomahawk pork chop, put it right here. So you want to take these off 5 degrees before your temperature that you want it. 125 degrees is rare, 125 degrees is rare, 135, 135 degrees is going to be medium rare, 145 medium, 165 is medium well, and so on. So we're going to go for a medium cook here. So we're going to get it up to about 130. And we'll pull it off at 130, let it rest, and then we'll sear it on the cast iron. When you go back to when you put the meat on the smoker, go back, grab yourself a High Lie India Pale Ale from Cigar City. Sit back because it's going to take about anywhere from 35 to 45 minutes to get to whatever temp that you would like to get it to. All right, we got the dry aged steak off. That was the inch thick, so the temp, of course, reached the temp faster. We pulled it off at 130. We got the cast iron skillet, so we're gonna put some olive oil. You can hear it sizzling. Throw in some butter. I want that to melt a little bit. Get some garlic in there. Oh man, you can smell that butter and the garlic together. Fantastic. I've tied rosemary and thyme together here to kind of keep it together, because when you start spooning the butter and the oil on there, it's going to kind of get in the way. This way you kind of just move it all at once. You don't want to get the aromatics of the rosemary burned into the olive oil and the butter. You don't want the butter to get too brown. So let's see about putting the steak in there. So we're going to sear it for 2 minutes on one side and then 2 minutes on the other side. All right, guys. There's some popping. This is the cap up here, if you remember. This is the main part of the steak, but we're going to cut into this now and see what we got. Oh, folks, look at that. That is perfect. Look at that. Getting to the thicker part of it, so it's going to be probably a little more rare. Yes, look at that. Oh, it's beautiful. Wow, Alfredo. That looks amazing. Look at that, guys. Beautifully cooked meat. Seared. I wish I could have gotten a little better sear on it, but you get the gist, the flavors from the garlic, butter, rosemary and thyme, and olive oil. Let me try this, guys. Little piece here. Dip it in this anjou. Oh, it's fantastic. That is delicious, guys. Next time, I'll get a better sear on it. Next episode. So we're going to cut now. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that, guys. This is going to be fantastic. Let's try it now. Oh wow. That's fantastic. Ribeye 101 reverse sear. Delicious. Outstanding. Alfredo, you got to get in here. Brother, it's delicious. We're into our third, maybe fourth beer. We don't know yet. Hipster sauce from 11 Below Brewing here in Houston, Texas. It's a Indian Pale Ale, West Coast style, with Citra and Amarillo hops and Mosaic. Very citrusy, very hoppy, hop forward. If you're like a traditional West Coast IPA, Hipster sauce from 11 Below is the way to go. Cheers, guys. Here we go. Bringing this back on, and we're going to cut. We're going to want to cut the bone off because we're also going to gnaw on this a little bit. So let's get that knife. Let's get that there. You can see the bone is right here. There we go. There we go. Oh, look at that, guys. I know it's pork, and nowadays the doneness of pork, it really isn't an issue these days because the pork is bred and it's fed properly as opposed to not just feeding it whatever is out there, garbage if you will. But these pork farmers are taking really good care of their pork. I feel comfortable eating a medium pork loin, pork chop. It keeps it really juicy. So here we go. We're gonna cut into it. Let's see if we look at that, guys. Oh yeah, still really juicy. You can see the juices from the steak. There you go, guys. Join us next time. Maybe you'll see pork belly burn ends. It's a fantastic recipe I have. Takes a few hours. Got a green egg back there. And see you next time. Thank you.
Okay guys, thank you. This is Tino, and I'm Alfredo, or as my friends call me, Fredo. And you will hear Tino calling out to me once in a while. I'll be behind the camera most of the time, but we do plan to have other episodes with all of our friends cooking, doing the things that they do best, things from their childhood, family recipes, cocktails, brewing beer, just all things that are Texas culture and man culture on the skids. So
Man culture on the skids, guys.
if you guys wouldn't mind, subscribe. We will have more episodes coming out, hopefully every couple weeks, and then as we get going, we might do one a week. So we appreciate it, and we'll see you guys soon.
Cheers.
Thanks. Cheers.